Every time I go to do in real life, they change it. And now I'm not sure how to get to chat. Show chat. Okay, so hopefully chat will show up. Anywho, today we are going to be making some beef stew because in my CSA box, farm box, they gave me a bunch of ingredients that I didn't order. And I was like, what do I do? And so I pulled some beef out of the freezer. So here we've got some ingredients. Got some grass-fed beef stew meat. Got some celery, got some parsley, and I've got some marinara sauce. So we're gonna try and make this into a stew. I also have some Swiss chard in the fridge, but I'm gonna add that in at the end as a leafy green. It won't take as long to cook as the celery. And washing it and preparing it will also give us something to do while the stew is cooking. So I'm going to be using the Instant Pot, which we have right here. It will plug in right there, and that is what we will do. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. I'm going to set up my camera somewhere. There, perhaps. Maybe that works. I've got the Instant Pot right here, and the cord is moving the camera. So first things first, I'm plugging in the Instant Pot. I'm going to take the inserts out of it. Get a little bit closer. We don't need any of this stuff. We're going to take it out. It's useful for other things, but not for this. And I am going to set this to saute. And I just push the saute button, and now that's going to start going. It's just a little button that's on the side. So now it's preheating. Very excellent. Grabbing my stew meat, I'm going to get a scissor and cut this up so that I can get it out of the package. I really enjoy getting my meat from Butcher Box because they do grass-fed, so it's higher quality product. Just so you know, grass-fed and grass-finished increases the omega-3s, healthy fats in the beef. In addition, it's also like nice for the welfare of the animal. So this is some nice pre-cut stew meat here. I am going to salt and pepper it as well. Have my salt and pepper here. Just going to do a little initial sprinkling here. And when I'm going to toss it over into the pot. And we'll sprinkle it some more then as well. It needs a little bit more heat. We are also going to be putting a little bit of oil into the bottom. A lot of times they say, oh, use olive oil, blah, 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 but olive oil has kind of a low smoke point. So instead, I'm going to use some avocado oil. It has a medium level smoke point. So I'm just gonna put that in there, just a nice little drizzle, and I will pull that up so that you can see. The oil's actually already kind of disappearing and spreading out, but that's what it looks like, and this is what the meat looks like. Yeah, we could probably dump it in at this point. Instant Pot heats up pretty quickly, so I'm gonna take this, dump it over. And you can hear that sizzle as it hits. Now, I am letting all the juice go in here too, because that adds additional flavor. So all that red juice is going in here. Great. Gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna get a spatula, spread this out. So we're getting the meat nice and spread out here so that you're getting nice browned surfaces. And I am going to further apply additional salt and pepper. I'm putting the thing right there so it's not touching the raw meat and then touching the counter. So getting more pepper, putting that on top. And putting a little more salt on top as well. You don't really have to overdo it with the salt. It's healthier not to. And it's 4:31, so we're gonna let this go for about between 5 and 10 minutes, and then move it to the next side. Probably closer to 5, honestly. It's sounding like it's browning pretty well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare celery. So I'm going to bring you over a little bit. Get that out of the way too. So I've got my celery here. Taking you over to the sink, as I'm going to get 4 stalks. Actually, I might do this entire celery because generally when making a stew you have celery and carrots and stuff like that. I only have celery this time, so it might be losing out on some bulk if I only use 4 stalks. So I think I'm just going to do the whole thing, which is only like 6 stalks. But if you have carrot, if you have onion and you're not allergic to onion, definitely things to include in your stew. And we'll grab this, and then the rest is the heart. We'll throw that away. And we're going to give these a good rinse. Try to get in the little nooks and crannies to get any dirt out. You can also set a timer for the beef flips as well, but I kind of find that setting timers sometimes just slows me down. As long as I'm, actively doing things and I'm not like walking away, I'll just like check the clock periodically. But not everybody has a good sense of time, so it's probably a better idea to set something, but no one can tell me what to do. Okay, great. So this celery has been rinsed. Doesn't have to be like super dry. Got like maybe 2 minutes left. Trying to decide if I should take you over to the cutting board or bring the cutting board over. I guess I could bring the cutting board over. Might be easier. So here's my little cutting board. Got a little paring knife here. Cutting off the undesirable portions. Those kind of wider ribs. Little tops. If you have a scraps bowl, this can go straight in there. If you're lazy like me, just put it on the counter and toss it in a second. Okay. All right. Scooping up all these scraps, gonna throw them away. Meanwhile, the Instant Pot is warning hot, so don't accidentally touch the Instant Pot. Okay, before we chop these up, it is now 4:35. I'm going to try and turn the meat. I am unsure how much you will see because of the steam, but oh yeah, we're getting good browning. Ugh. Oh, it's sticking a little bit. Ah. That's why you put oil down. Ugh. One other thing, you can try turning on the light. That might help. Visibility. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, and so I'm just trying to get it onto the other side. Oh yeah, see, look at that nice brown crust right there. So that's gonna help deliver flavor. I wish it was not sticking as much though. I probably could have put a little bit more oil in here. There we go. Getting it to try and release. And of course, it does not help that the Instant Pot does not really stay grounded. Okay. Flip over. Thank you. Sometimes tell the meat what you want it to do nicely, and it will oblige. Okay, that's pretty good. Rykor says, fond. You always put more butter and oil when you use the Instant Pot saute. Yeah, it is it's a little temperamental. I did put like a decent amount of avocado oil in there, like 2 glugs worth. But yeah, I don't think it was enough. It was not enough. Also, I hope you're doing well today, Rykor. So now I'm just cutting the celery into nice little pieces. So there are a lot of things that I do not have. Like, for instance, I'm supposed to use beef broth later. I don't have beef broth. So instead, I will use water. Little piece just went flying, that's fine. But we're already gonna have some nice brown flavor from the meat cooking in the pot because it's all in the same pot, you know? You're trying to wrap things up at work? Water and fond hype. I'm actually gonna get a little bowl here just to get stuff out of my way. Definitely know where everything is in my kitchen. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so I'm just getting this out of my way so I have more space on the cutting board. So it's going to be pretty celery forward. I've got some tomato sauce. And of course, normally in stew, they say, oh, use tomato paste and beef broth, right? So the tomato sauce also has some water in it. So that helps too. And probably by the time we are done chopping the celery, it will be time to take the beef out. And we'll start making our base. I'm also thinking I have a little bit of leftover brown rice that I might throw in at the end just to kind of give it some more heft. I don't have potatoes or anything like that. But if you're doing like keto, for instance, or, you know, low carb, you don't have to put anything in here. This actually doesn't even have carrots in it. Devil says, improv cooking stream, eh? Indeed. I do cooking streams occasionally. But, yeah, I haven't done one in a little while. Not using the best technique there, but that's okay. We're trying to get through it. Best technique is this rocking motion. But sometimes it's best to just do that when you're doing a rough chop. You took a look at YouTube a while back. Oh, okay, so you've seen some of my stuff. Okay. So celery is done being chopped, and as predicted, that took about 5 minutes. So we're looking, here's how our meat's looking. We got some nice brown bits. Looks very brown in the bottom. Ugh. Okay, so we're gonna get something out to, we are going to turn it off, and we're gonna get the beef out. Gonna use this bowl here. Start lifting these bad boys out. So these are not fully cooked, they're just seared on the outside. We're gonna finish the cooking process in the actual like stew itself. Not gonna lie, sometimes being short as I am, I'm not that short, but being a little bit short can make working with an Instant Pot a little difficult. Because I'm trying to make sure that I don't burn my hand, but my arm is also not super long, so it can be a little challenge. Okay, getting the beef out, do-do-do-do-do. Getting the beef out. Probably be faster if I used a spoon or something. Gonna get a big honking spoon. Yeah, that's a bit easier. Just have to be careful not to scrape the bottom with the metal spoon, because that can scratch it. You know, makes it a little bit easier to grab the dang pieces. Especially when it likes to spin around. The insert likes to spin around inside. It's like, no man, I need you to stay put. I need leverage. All right, so we now have, oh, hello. What question for you? Do you do charity? No, I'm very small. I don't do charity. But here we got beef, and there's the brown bits at the bottom. We are going to, Lake Wigs for Kids sounds interesting though. When I was young, I had hair down to my waist, and I actually donated my hair to charity, Locks of Love. So I'm gonna pour this into here. Some of that water is gonna cook off. And we'll get kind of a tomato pasty consistency, in all likelihood, because some of the water is gonna cook off. This is just the last of the pasta sauce that was already in my fridge. Of course, some of it just splashed onto over here because why would it go where I want it to go? Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Could also use the spoon. Yeah, but legitimately not using a recipe today, just kind of feeling it out, knowing kind of how long a stew takes. And if I flip you around, there you can see the sauce is boiling down a little bit. And I am further going to prep a little bit of parsley. Not all of this parsley. They gave me 2 bunches of this. What am I supposed to do with this? I mean, some of it's going to go in the stew, but most of it's going to get thrown out. Let's be honest. Say like that much? Sure. Give it a rinse. And we'll give it a chop. Get some of the stems gone. Kind of cut it up a little bit. Probably better if I broke out with a chef's knife, but I'm lazy, so we're not doing that. Okay, so there we go. There's our nice parsley. It will add a little bit. We'll throw out these additional stems too. The stems are a little bit texturally not as nice, but they are totally edible. Okay. So at this point, we would add like 2 cups of beef broth. We're just gonna add water. Some nice tap water. That's about 2 cups. Okay. So here's what it looks like now. We're going to scrape the brown bits off the bottom as best we can. Those brown bits are going to give us some flavor into our water. And I am scraping at it with a wooden or bamboo with the hope that it does not scratch the bottom of the pan. And I'm kind of doing this by feel since the water is a little bit opaque, but you can hear when I'm encountering resistance. There's a little bit at the edges still. I think you were saying the food looks delicious. Great, I'm glad. It's my dinner tonight, so we're making things happen here. All right, we'll say that's good enough. Gonna get some spices. So this is my collection of spices. We're gonna get bay leaf. Going to get some rosemary and thyme. And maybe some paprika, a little bit of paprika. So yeah, I kind of have, I for a long time I had my spices sorted alphabetically, but now I kind of have them sorted by theme or like by like flavor profile, if that makes any sense at all. So spices that kind of tend to go together are together. Okay. So start off with bay leaves. Bay leaves smell great. One leaf will do ya. And generally you fish it out at the end. You don't actually eat it, but it adds flavor. So just plop that in there. The thyme, I'm gonna be pretty liberal with. It has a nice kind of flavor. You could use measurements here, but again, we're improving. Maybe I should do it this way, flipping the camera. Rosemary is a little bit stronger, so I'm gonna use less of that. And the lid just fell on the floor. Ugh, because I don't know why. And then I will use a little bit of paprika as well. I'm gonna need 2 hands to open this. 2 hands to open this. There we go. Okay. And we'll just shake in a little bit. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Try that. So now it's nice and spiced up. And at this point, I would say we can go ahead and add our ingredients back in. So I'm going to plop the meat back in. Doing this with one hand may be challenging. A little bit of plops. All right, that went okay. And then I'm going to also throw in the celery and parsley. I'm gonna stir that together a little bit. And it looks like we do have a decent amount of liquid, which is good because we do want it to kind of braise, which means to cook in liquid. All right, so I'm gonna just give it a sniff. I'm trying to think if it needs anything else, but I think we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the pot lid on. And let's see, how long to cook for? I'm gonna double check really quickly. Double check anything because when I tried to do that, the stream ended. So we don't want that. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and set it for manual, and 30 minutes should do it. Honestly, it probably only needs 20, but there are some really fatty pieces in there, so that should kind of make sure it's done. And from there, we're gonna put the spices away, clean up a little bit, and we will also take a look at our chard. Thyme almost fell out of my hands because the lid was not on good enough. Whenever you're using the Instant Pot, you always want to make sure that the lid has the sealed position. So that's what's going to allow it to come to pressure. And it is on. It is currently working toward coming to pressure. So yeah, that's kind of good, and it's what allows you to kind of set it and forget it, which is nice. Just throwing our scraps away, throwing the stuff away here, and the next thing that we would do is go and get our Swiss chard out of the fridge. I'm just gonna throw this in the dishwasher first so it's out of the way. This is gonna go in the garbage too. And the rest of the parsley is gonna go in the fridge to rot and not be used ever, because how in the hell am I supposed to use this much parsley? Okay. Here's the fridge. And here's the Swiss chard. I've got some lettuce in here as well. But we want this. Oh yeah. Swiss chard, baby. I don't know if I'm going to use 100% of this. It does cook down to a certain extent, but it's kind of a lot. And I do already have a bunch of celery in there. Looks pretty good. You don't eat enough greens these days? Yeah. I'm seriously considering just not doing the greens because I have to have it come not back to pressure at the end in order to do that. So what I might do instead is just relax and play some games until the Instant Pot is done, and then not, because I did put an entire thing of celery in there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. We'll save the Swiss chard for another day. Well, how long will the stew take? I have the stew set to cook at pressure for 30 minutes. It probably doesn't even need that long. It probably only needs like maybe 20 minutes, but I'm just being super cautious. And then we will see the result. So yeah, I'm going to go offline here and then come back online in like 5 minutes at my computer. So I will be right back. It's done. Well, hang on. It's done. See? It is a nice beefy stew with a bunch of celery. And I will say a couple of things I could have done differently. It ended up more kind of soup-like. I don't know if you can really see, but I probably could have added some flour or cornstarch in the end to thicken it. I generally don't do those things because it adds carbohydrates, but if you wanted a thicker consistency, you could definitely do that. But yeah, let's give it a taste. See how it is. The broth is pretty yummy. It's beefy. Not bad considering we didn't use beef broth. Very tender, falling apart meat. And I tested the temperature. It was at like 200, so I was like, yeah, that's fine. And tender veggies too. Overall, I'd say this is a win. I am gonna go ahead and sign off at this juncture so that I can eat some food. But I appreciate you all hanging me out today. No visible flinch means you already have exceeded most anime girlfriends. Oh, like in terms of cooking skill? Perhaps. I mean, I feel pretty good about this considering that I kind of had a little bit of a recipe guide in terms of like how long to cook the stew for, which I did it for 35 minutes in the Instant Pot. And then of course there's the preheat to come to pressure, and then there's the slow release, so it actually takes longer than 35 minutes, but whatever. I knew which buttons to push to put it in there. But other than that, I kind of improv'd this with stuff that I had laying around, and it turned out okay. It's definitely edible. So it's a running gag that anime women cannot cook unless they are moms or robots. Have you ever seen Outlaw Star? Yeah. So I do believe that I will be back briefly. Well, spoiler alert for old anime. But I will be back not tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday, but I'll be back Saturday morning, and we'll continue on with the Unplayed series. What's coming up next on Unplayed? Let me take a look in Steam. What is coming up next in Unplayed? We're in the caves, I know that much. We're gonna be playing Knights of Pen and Paper 2, which is an RPG. Prepare to inhabit a world of chivalry, class warfare, and offbeat pop references. Huh. Okay, kind of sounds like playing D&D a little bit, so that could be interesting. And we'll almost certainly finish the K's this weekend because we've got Knights of Pen and Paper 2, and then Kyle is Famous, and that's the end. That's the end of the K's. So there aren't that many of them. So yeah, that'll be good. But let's see if we can raid somebody really quickly. So I'll be back tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Oh my god, it's Thursday. I'll be back on Saturday morning. We can give Ibishi some love. They're playing some Fairy Tale Fables. Unless a viewer adds more K games to you, LUK. Sorry, I don't understand. I hope that you all. Right. Unless a viewer adds more K games to my Steam library before in the next 2 days, but hopefully that's not going to happen. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day and be sure to stay safe. Oh, we type with the emoji. Got it. See you soon. Stay safe out there.